Hello YouTube, this is Charlie426, and today we have the review of the HG Jogan from Kyokai Senki. Now, so far I'm really enjoying the series, and this was actually released last week in Korea. I'm not sure how it was in Japan, but last week, because of the Master Grade Virtue release, I had to focus on that kit, but now I'm done with that, so I'm reviewing the Jogan. So, the Jogan is basically, in the anime-wise, this was the second unit that one of the main characters uses. That's more of a sniper type. So, according to the information I could gather, this one is not as swift moving compared to Kenbu. So yeah, but as you can see in the anime, definitely he's a much more stand on your ground, firing type of mech. And yeah, now, first of all, I would like to mention I'm not going to make a comparison every time I review a Kyokai Senki kit, especially with the main character ones, because that would kind of be a little bit redundant, because every time a new character, a certain one, obviously Honda's going to release the third one, which is the flying unit with the spear. I'm not going to be making comparisons because, well, at that point we should practically know how these kits are sized and how they work, so yeah. Anyway, so this was a pretty fun build. This was, I would say the color separation was amazing, but except for on a few certain places. But still, let's see what we got. So, first of all, what you get, of course, is obviously the main unit itself. So I'm not sure if I mentioned this on my Bunya Boomerang review, but this one, the males, Kenbu, Jogan, Byakuchi, they are all piloted. There's a pilot that goes inside the unit, but the Bunya Boomerang, for example, is actually controlled. There's no pilot cockpit or anything in like that. So yeah, that's one of the main differences, or kind of a small thing that you should be aware, because I can see some people buying these kits because they just like the look but never watch the anime. And also, today is the release date of the male's Ghost, the Mime Ghost HG kit, and I'll be getting that as well. I mean, that one is also a unmanned unit. Alright, so let's see what we got. So, other than the Kenbu unit itself, hand-wise, we get these multi-purpose hands for left and right. And here are all the other equipment. Now, technically, you do have the shield on the left shoulder. And inside of the left shoulder, there should be... come on. Now, I am having a slight issue with this thing, but there we go. You also get the combat dagger, so a combat knife kind of weapon inside the shield. Now, there is a slight issue that I'm having with this one, but I'll get into that later. And then here, for hand-wise, other than the multi-purpose hands, we also get the fully open hands for left and right. Nothing too special about that. Of course, we only get one set of hand guards, so every time you swap out hands, you need to take out the hand guards and then reattach it. And we get this, the sniper rifle that this unit uses. Of course, according to the manual, this is actually called the double barrel sniper cannon. So I guess that also kind of makes sense because the way how he uses it, he can fire from very long distances, and this thing does have a lot of firepower. So this is a very interesting weapon because, first of all, you can see these magazines on top from bottom, and then if you look at the front, as the name implies, it's a double barrel sniper cannon, and definitely has a huge, massive look. And even in the series, this definitely is a powerful weapon. And therefore, we also get a dedicated trigger finger hand for this. Of course, I say dedicated, but it's just a typical trigger finger. And then for the stock, we actually get a moving stock like that. So I assume this is not when you actually use it. This is just when the rifle is not in use. They just fold this in to save space, I assume. But yeah. And that's that. And then for stickers, we actually get stickers for these scopes for here, so that's a small interesting detail. And now this I was slightly kind of disappointed, because the way how the promo picture showed us is that I was assuming that you can see these yellow parts would just extend here. I was kind of curious what the gimmick was, but no, it's actually just you swap the inside. This inside part was this gimmick, so yeah, that's kind of a bummer. But I would like to mention, for those who saw my pictures yesterday on my Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or Instagram, or whatever, you are able to do the sniper pose without this. This is just a small bonus, if you ask me, but still, that was kind of a bummer, but oh well. And now for leftover parts wise, there's not much. So first of all, this yellow piece. Now, this is the exact same yellow piece that you use on the right shoulder. So if you don't want to have anything attached to the shoulder, you can take it off and then cover up with this. You can cover up the hole with this, so it's really up to you. So make sure you don't lose it. And then, oh, my throat. And then here, this is more of a repeat part. So in order to connect the shield to the shoulder, you have to use this extra joint there. So yeah, it's the exact same joint you see on the shoulder right over there. So yeah, so I guess you can kind of use this for customization purposes or on a different kit if you need to. All right, now let's look at the sticker sheet. So now, first of all, this gold one on the middle is a pretty common sticker. This was used in the byakuchi. Sorry about that. I'm not sure what's going on with my throat. This was used on the byakuchi as well, so nothing too special. I believe this was there was another similar sticker as this on the byakuchi as well. Now, the good part for this one is that there is a yellow part. Instead of using a sticker, you can there's this vent on the back. Yeah, let me just show you guys right away. All right, there you go. So this is that sticker that you're supposed to apply, but since it's already yellow, you can just color the inside with a Gundam lining marker or anything like that. So I don't think you need to necessarily apply the sticker. Now I already showed you guys the green ones that were on the rifle or sniper cannon, and then these yellow 4 ones. These were kind of odd. So these are the ones that goes onto the legs here. So on each side of the leg. So which is why we have 4. So this part might be a little bit tricky to color, but if you can, at least it's a part that you are able to color. And finally this. Now this one, number 1 was kind of an odd sticker if you ask me. So this sticker, as you can see, it's very long. What it is, let me just get it off the stand now and get rid of the stand. So this is the sticker that goes over there is on the main body middle. So you can see not from this part, from this start to this bottom. This is the sticker that you have to apply because you're actually applying sticker on the inner frame part. So if you peel this off, it would have a much more darker grayish or inner frame color. So that was definitely an odd choice because any part else, they did a really good job on the color separation point. Heck, even this crotch piece here, you can see the black piece between the yellow pieces. They even did that. So I really find it a little bit odd that they had to do this on the main body. But oh well, since it's already happened, there's nothing we can do about it. But if you have the exact right color, then you can just color it right away. So, really up to you. Anyway, let's start with the review. So, let's start with the head. Definitely liking the head here. They did a really good job on the color separation point. And then the eyes are a clear piece. Definitely you can see the light going through there. Definitely liking the looks. And then the back of the antennas. Once again, they did all the color separation right on the antennas. The black piece, the yellow piece, they're all separate pieces. Even these small yellow pieces. These are actually individual pieces. Very small pieces, and yet they did it. So the head, like the byakuchi, the neck joint is pretty much the same one. You can go forward and backward like that. The neck can go forward and backward, and you can go look down that much, and then up not so much. But according to the manual, what you can do is that you can flip this section up, and then kind of close up the face like that, something like that. So which would also I would assume when it's in its parking mode inside the truck. But once again, that's not a really interesting, not a important gimmick, so I'm gonna skip on that. Alright, so we see the head, and then the head, if you're wondering, yes, it can go 360, but as you can see, the neck moved together. Alright, let's look at the main arms. So like the byakuchi, it pretty much works the same. You can go if you flip this section up, the shoulder cover, if you ask me, joint cover up, you move it up, and then you can move the arms to the side like that. Yeah, that's as far as you go because there's no extra movement on the shoulder here, so that's as far as you go in terms of moving the shoulder up. And then you have a nice forward and backward movement. You can go forward that much, and then back back also a little bit more. Now what I like about this is that when I was reviewing the byakuchi, this part would kind of disconnect here, so, and I'm not having that issue as much as as the byakuchi, so really satisfied with the kit here. And then here is the shield joint connector. Let me just take it off right over here. So here is that whole main connector here, and here is that joint. So one joint is actually a peg, and then the other side of the joint is a ball joint. So you can pretty much move the shield any way you want. And once again, they did color separated pieces on the yellow. So they did a really good job on the color separation here, except for on maybe one or two parts. So kind of odd here. And then each joint also can move on its own. So yeah, you can pretty much move the shield any way you want. Now the issue I was having with the combat knife is this. So what you're supposed to do is that this thing is supposed to go in here. Don't mind the direction, but basically the premise is that you have to slide this inside here, but depending on how you do it, or the way how, depending on how the situation is, this thing just falls off way too easily. I haven't found a way to lock it into place, so this is a small issue that I'm having, unless I did something wrong. So maybe, I don't know, maybe you have to like fill in the inside with like a little bit more extra plastic dust or something like that, but still, definitely I was kind of worried about this, but yeah, it's actually happening. So I hope this is just my issue. If anybody else is not having this issue, do let me know. So yeah. And since I already brought out the combat knife, it's a very simple single piece plastic, so you can just slide it into the multi-purpose hands like this. There we go. You can slide it into the hands right here. Now it doesn't slide off the hand that easily, so that's a very good plus. And also, there are sometimes we would have these combat knives, whoops, and it would not be able to plug into the other way around. But this one, you don't need to worry. It plugs in very well, and it doesn't fall off that easily. So you can hold it like this if you want to do so. All right. There we go. Now we've seen the shoulders. Now let's get the main. Now let's get the arms. Now the arms itself. Once again, the arm structure is not your typical Gundam style structure where we would have an inner frame and then you cover up on the left-right piece. That's not how it works, but we actually just have a outer part here like this. So the lower section can go 360 like that, and then the arms can bend forward more than 90 degrees, and then because of the structure, you can go also backwards if you want to do so for some reason. And then we also have a wrist area where it can go pretty much without the hand. I'm pretty sure you can go 360, but you can go pretty much up and down any way you want, and the hand is your typical ball jointed hand here. So yeah, I would say this has a much more realistic look if you ask me, because of the engineering. Alright, so we've seen that. Now let's look at the body. Now showing the body articulation on the byakuchi was really tricky, but once again we can go forward a lot, and then we can, yeah, I think this is as far as it goes, and then backwards not so much, but you can rotate the entire body 360 as well, and then you can also kind of rotate them on an angle like that. So yeah, because when I was going 360, I actually rotated the entire joint on the bottom here. But if I were to just move the only top button, because the way how the connection here is on an angle, which is why we can move the body, we can kind of twist the body also in an angle like that. So that's an interesting articulation if you ask me. Now looking at the legs here, very interesting legs. Well, typical, we have a nice side swivel going on here, and then you can go to the front about more than 90 degrees, and then backwards also pretty much. And let's see, once again, every yellow part you see here is all color separated pieces, and like the byakuchi, you can't really straighten up the legs because you can see this L-shaped part here. That's just a single. You can consider this like as this part as a single piece. So this lower part won't move forward, but the legs here can go forward as well. So if you want to make it look as tall as possible, you're gonna have to like work your way around to find the longest length here. But yeah, so the lower leg can also go forward and backward like that. So I think this has a little bit more freedom on these parts compared to the byakuchi. A little bit more, but not too much. And the feet, once again, the feet, kind of interesting. So you can rotate the feet 360 like that, and then you have a nice we have a nice pivot point right here. And then I believe there was another part that was interesting for the feet was that I believe the feet guard here can also have its own articulation like that. So that was an interesting point. And then we also have an extra back stand for more stability on the legs. And I do prefer these legs compared to the byakuchis because the byakuchis were kind of really hard to deal with. And finally we have the back skirt. So the back skirt, as I mentioned, you have to replace this part for the stands, and this thing is also on like a clip joint, so you can move forward up and down like that, and then flop it all the way you want to do so. And once again, these yellow pieces are all color separated pieces. Alright, so now we've seen the basics of the kit. So yeah, I would say the color separation and articulation is superb. Even the legs, despite the way how they look, you can spread it out all the way to the side. So this thing pretty much has it all. Alright, so we've seen the basics of the kit. Obviously it has amazing articulation, and then the color separation is, I would say it has been done very well, except for on certain places like the main chest, and then maybe these yellow golden lines. But anyway, now I'm pretty sure everybody's curious about how this works, so I'll be right back with some demonstrations. Okay, I'm back. Here we have the sniping pose. Now, after experiencing with the stands, I found out that having the stands might be a little bit more difficult to do the sniping pose because these the back skirt does not rotate, so they're always going to be facing pretty much the same direction. So if you want to match these two stands being on the ground, now granted the yellow parts can rotate a little bit, so you can change the angle a little bit, but despite that, in order to match this facing the ground, it might be a little bit tricky to match that up with the entire pose, but it's not too difficult, and you can work your way out if you want to do so. And yeah. And I would like to point out these stands are not exactly doing the main job in terms of holding the kit all the way up. Even without the stands, it's mostly the feet doing the job that's maintaining the ground. So yeah, you really don't need to use these if you ask me, but they just added in there because that was a gimmick in the anime. So yeah, and here is the other part that you have to replace here in order to do that. So I think I'm just pretty much going to be using this part and not using the stand, because the kit articulation, especially on the feet and the legs, are magnificent to the point where they can just pretty much do all the job. Alright, so we've seen the sniper pose here going on here. I think there's only one thing left to show you guys, and which is the combat knife, which I usually like to put the shield in this direction, because if I put it downwards like this, the way how in the anime, the combat knife may fall off easily. So I'll be right back with the demonstration. Okay, I'm back. So here we have the combat knife. Nothing special other than being a combat knife, but I do like this weapon because the fact that it can actually go inside the shield, other than the issue of sliding off a little bit too easily, and we don't see these type of weapons too often on Gunpla. In terms of Gunpla, the only thing I can remember is the Premium Bandai exclusive Conroy's Jogan, which is based on the Equus type Jogan, and yeah, that knife was pretty cool if you ask me. So yeah, it works like a charm, and you can, with the open style hands, you can do all sorts of posing with this. Now, for those who have watched the recent 2 episodes of the Kyokai Senki series, you may have noticed that the Jogan has acquired some new equipment. Now, I might need to rewatch that because I can't remember if the equipment goes onto the backpack or onto the other side of the shield, because in terms of action he only used that once, but still, yeah, I'm not sure if it was on the other side of the on the shoulder. But inside that weapon equipment, there's also these 2 type of small guns that he can kind of look. They look like micro machine guns, like the Uzi type weapons. But in action, he just fired them like a pistol. So either way, I believe that equipment is included in the helicopter kit that's coming out soon. I believe next year. So yeah, hopefully for those who bought this kit will also get that helicopter, so that you can add that equipment onto the kit. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the review. So this was the review of the Jogan. I would highly recommend this kit for those who haven't tried the Kyokai Senki kits yet. Like for the Bunya Boomerang, sure, it's an odd kit, so it may not be for everyone. But this one, I would say, it's a pretty good start because it has really good articulation. Color separation is pretty well done. Granted, there are stickers, but they're not like too difficult stickers. They're not much of a big deal if you ask me, except for the one in the main body. And it comes with a combat knife and a huge gun, so I would say this is a good start. Anyway, if you guys got any questions or requests, leave a comment below. I still have more stuff to buy and build, especially today's releasing HG Mime Ghost. Other than that, if you guys got any requests, do let me know. Until then, see you guys next time.